Today's webinar will be covering several CMA products that you can use to prepare reports for your consumers of CMA comparative market analysis information. To start, I'll just click slides. There we go. I'm going to just overview these few products in the webinar today, and we are limited to about an hour together today, so I'm not going to physically show you how to do a CMA, how to come up with comps, what makes a good comp and what doesn't. We do have classes that offer that type of instruction, hands-on. They'll also touch on all four of these CMA products in that class, so you'll get an overview of how to create the reports, the output in each of these four products in that CMA Price It Right class specifically. And again, I'll be sending this PowerPoint to y'all, so you'll have a copy for reference later. But these are the two courses that primarily, excuse me, that we offer here at HAR that primarily deal with CMA content. The CMA Price is Right is kind of the fundamentals, as it says, of going through the process of choosing comps. So what makes a good comp and what doesn't, how to perform the search in matrix, how to cull those down and weed through those and choose those as your final comps, and then generate the CMA report. And then we have another class, the Pricing Strategies Advisor, Mastering the CMA. That one is a more detailed class, more broad spectrum information, a little bit more quote unquote advanced. So it goes into more information, more details. It's an 8-hour long class, so you have much more opportunity to go into more detail in that one. The CMA Price It Right class is 3 hours of CE, and this one is 8. And there is no cost for the Price It Right, and the member cost for Pricing Strategy Advisor is $99. Again, I'll send you these handouts a little bit later, and it's in where you can download it as well. So you'll have all that information. And this is a clickable link on the handout, so you should be taken straight to the HAR page, or you can register for those classes if you'd like. So just to start off with the Instant CMA first, that's first on my list. It's also one of the ones that you can do on your mobile device. It's accessible really from any device, so you can use it from within har.com. You can use it on our app. So it's a mobile-friendly and or web-based app within an app, sort of. And again, I just have some screenshots here of the end product, but I'm going to just switch over to live sample here, showing you my screen on my phone. And I know it's a little tough to see size-wise, it might be a little small, but on the right-hand side of the screen there, you can see my HAR app. And when you're performing a search within the HAR app, once you find any listing that's currently in MLS, you would be able to quickly put the Instant CMA together from a link that's already on the property. Excuse me, let me just do homes for sale and put an address. I've got a address already in mind. Again, today's overview presumes I've already done all the legwork of knowing the subject, finding the comps, and so forth. And I'm on a Droid phone today, so it'll look a little bit different than your iPhone. On Droids in the upper right, we have that kind of DNA looking icon there to share. And just below that, there's the MLS section, MLS information. And if you click there, you'll see your days on market, be able to access the agent full report and archive through matrix, tax info, and so forth. And then toward the bottom there, you'll see create an instant CMA. So presuming this was a home that was not yet in MLS, not active, you could click that instant CMA, type the client's name, and then within about 4 steps, you'd be able to fairly quickly come up with a comparative market analysis for that home. So it's going to go into the MLS system for you and look for, as it says in the colors here, your sold, pendings, and active, red, yellow, and green. If you tap on the red to start the process, it shows you sold properties, and it's gone out and found homes that are the same approximate shape, size, age, and so forth from MLS. And then at the bottom of each, there's a button, the blue button there that says Add Listing to CMA. So I would go through the sold properties, the pending properties, and the actives and find those that were just amazing and perfect and wonderful comps for my CMA. In real life, of course. Please read. And then just click that little back arrow in the upper left to go back and do the same process for my pending. So the little yellowish, orangish status there. No pendings found, totally fine. And then on actives, again, you just kind of cycle through and find those that would be comparable. And NAR would like you to have about 3 of each status, actives, pendings, and solds if you could find them. It's better, in my humble personal opinion, to have 1 good solid comp than 3 mediocre comps. Down at the bottom where it says next, once you've chosen however many comps are appropriate and available, you just click next. And I'm actually mostly done with this quick or the instant CMA here. You can see the suggested list price range, or market value of the home, the price range that the market can handle, based on the crazy comps I just selected a moment ago. I didn't really pay attention much. And there is a spot at the bottom there you can add adjustments in the green text at the bottom of the page. So if, for instance, there were closing cost contributions that were given away or actual repairs made or something that are accounted for in MLS, you can add those adjustments in there to bring that price range down a touch to a more appropriate range. And then you just simply click Create CMA in the lower right corner. You can click Preview, of course, but Create is typically what you want to do. And then it's going to generate a PDF type file. And back to my screenshot just briefly, it gives you typically 4 pages. If you've got 4 to 6 comps, it could be 4 or 5 pages at most, but it's automatically going to pull the property photo from MLS and or tax, depending on where you started the CMA process, and then give you a very robust, nice, neat, tidy, professional looking report in the end. And here toward the bottom of the screen on the app, you can see you can share it, you can email it directly to someone, text it to someone, view your report, of course, get a shareable link. So again, if you wanted to copy and paste the link and share however you'd like, and you could start over if you wanted to do that. So just to quickly view the CMA report, again, you can see it pulls property photos, it pulls your personal information from HAR, your membership information. So if you've uploaded your photo to HAR, and we've got your correct phone number and all that on file, it adds that to that cover sheet. And then it gives them a very brief overview of your average sale price, list price, so forth. And then it gives them a column number comparison of all those properties that I painstakingly chose. So very short and sweet, simple process. This now is saved in my instant CMAs on my app. And that instant CMA section also syncs back to har.com. So I can at any point expand the side menu, the main menu on my app, scroll about halfway down, and there's an instant CMA section. So the ones I've created already are saved there. I can also start the process from there. So presuming that, excuse me, the home is not in MLS, as the one I just did is, and frankly, you often aren't running a CMA on homes that are already active in MLS. You're doing it because you are hoping to get the listing and be the one to put it in MLS. So again, kind of subtle, but up here in the upper right corner of the app, you can barely see there. Again, sorry, the screen's a bit tiny, I realize, but there's a little plus to add, and you can type the address of any property in the tax records, and it'll pull the tax data, so your basic beds, baths, square footage, your belt, and so forth. And then the rest of the process is exactly the same. It still goes to MLS and looks for those solds for you. You pick and choose through only those that are appropriate and good comps for your CMA, and then your pendings, and then your actives, and then you get that same generated report. And it does let you put an MLS number on that screen as well. So for instance, if it were an expired listing and you still have that MLS number from when it was in MLS, you could put that in and still use that property as your subject. So that's your quick CMA, or excuse me, your instant CMA. Instant is faster than quick. apparently. So there's your instant CMA. Feel free to use that little chat feature. Like I mentioned, if you've got any questions at all, you want to submit those to me, just let me know. The instant CMA, again, is built into your HAR app. So as long as you have that app, you should be fine to use that product. And then also we have a version of the instant CMA built into the website. So it's either web-based and or app-based, as I mentioned at the top of our webinar today. When you first log on to har.com, if you just start typing the term CMA, you'll see you get several options. Instant CMA is right there. Again, the CMA I just created on my app is already synced immediately back to this interface. So I can share it from here. I can delete, I can open and view. Same report, just a little bigger so y'all can see it a little clearer on the screen. And those are saved for you on har.com pretty much forever. I think we saved them up to 4 years or something like that. You can see I've got one dated back to 2016. So I've never actually experienced where it purged those for me. And then, of course, the big pink button right there, you can click to create a CMA report from here. So again, with an address tax record, you can just click the pink button and start that process and get your guesstimate of market value. Let's see, I have a question, Rhonda. Can I be sure where to enter the address if there's no MLS on the map? I'm not completely certain that I understand your question, Rhonda, but the way that I started the process, if you don't have an MLS number, if I'm understanding that question correctly, use the menu on the far left of your app, and about halfway down you'll see Instant CMA, create an Instant CMA, and you can type a property address and pull the tax record info from there. If you do have an MLS number, you can use that little tab, but address specifically can be typed there. Hope I answered the right question. I hope I understand correctly. So just feel free to shoot me another message if that wasn't exactly what you meant. Sorry if I misunderstood. All right, so moving back to our web-based applications now. Like I say, that's really our only mobile feature that we'll talk about. Great, thank you, Rhonda, appreciate that. That's the only mobile-based one that we'll talk about today. The rest are going to be inside Matrix. And with the exception of the Cloud CMA product, they are all tied to your regular membership. So Instant CMA, CMA Wizard, and Quick CMA inside Matrix are all going to be standard tools. You don't have to have a platinum subscription for those. The Cloud CMA product is a third-party product, so they're their own company, Cloud CMA is, and they provide that product to our members. It's just rolled into the Platinum MLS subscription. That subscription's $129 a year plus tax. You decide to subscribe whenever you'd like, and then the charge takes effect at that time. So you're not paying for those services unless you're deciding to subscribe and pay for those services. And then Cloud CMA is one of about 20-ish products, 18 to 20-ish products that you get, excuse me, with that package. Goodness. This cold front has my allergies acting up a little. So again, moving on to our next product, the Matrix CMA Wizard. I think this is where you're probably going to go the most to get the more comprehensive report. Matrix CMA Wizard will allow you to do that. There are good uses and purposes for all of these products. Sometimes, I just really very, very quickly need an instant output of market value. Another good way that you could use the instant CMA inside the app, to flip the script just a little. Typically, we're doing CMAs for sellers to get an estimated list price or market value for listing purposes, but you can also use that instant CMA for market value for your buyer. If you're standing in the living room after just showing them that property and they love it and want to make an offer, that very quickly allows you to click through, choose some comps, generate that number, and give you the market value of that home. So again, a couple of different ways that instant CMA serves a great purpose as well. I've already gone ahead and performed a search in Matrix just in the essence of time and wanting to show you the products more than anything today. But down toward the bottom in our actions menu, you have several choices, and I'm just going to zoom quite far in so you can see CMA right off the bat. So as soon as you run a search and you've handpicked those comps that were amazing and wonderful and such, then you would click CMA to start that type of report. Quick CMA is off to the right just a touch more, and then right next to that is Cloud CMA. So they're all kind of in a row there. Not sure why CMA is hanging out over further on the left side of the screen, but they're all in that Actions toolbar at the bottom. So again, just presuming this is a CMA, the comps are ready to go, I'll click on that CMA button. It's mad at me because I logged in before I started my webinar. So one moment, please. So really, let's see. So the first step of the wizard, and you can see those steps across the top here. So like little stepping stones, you'll just follow along with these steps and fill in the appropriate blanks as you go. And then your CMA is done. Starting off with the client's name, contact name. So whoever it is that you're doing the CMA for, you would click their name if it's in your address book or contact list already. If not, you can add them here. You can skip this step and go to the subject property tab there toward the top and fill their name in later. If you don't want to officially formally add them to your contact list in Matrix, you don't have to, but often you do want to add them there just so that you're able to, keep in touch and have that information handy for other purposes outside the CMA. And you can see the note toward the bottom there. The CMA is saved for 180 days from the last modified date. You'll get an email that lets you know it's going to be purged from the Matrix system. You can open, resave, and keep re-upping that 180-day time period. But beyond that, they are deleted after 180 days. So a little bit different than your instant CMAs. All right, so moving into the next steps, pages. Mine again looks a little different just because I have administrative type access. It presumes a couple of things on my screens that it wouldn't on yours. But on the far left side, the little pluses next to each, I can get it to go for us. The plus next to each section here lets you see all the pages within those sections. And there's 20-ish pages to the CMA wizard. You don't need all of those. Cover sheet and cover sheet with a photo, for instance. My initial thought was this is property photo, but it's not. The cover sheet with a photo is kind of a background image, a border to make it blend with the theme of the rest of the pages. Cover sheet is just all white in the background and has just a small picture of the property and myself, the contact information for me, the property address, and so forth. So the text is the same on both cover sheets, but that background image is what's different. I'm going to go ahead and add them both just so you can see them there and see the difference. Under the subject and adjustments area, obviously if you're doing a single family type CMA, you don't need the townhome lots, high rise, and other versions, so you can just click on those. You can also use the arrows on the far right to bump it up and bump it down, kind of rearrange those pages. You don't know what you don't know. So after you've used the wizard a couple of times and get used to the layout, find your little groove and order that you want, which pages you do and don't want to include, and all that good stuff. Down toward the bottom of that right-hand column, you can set as default. So take out the pages you want, put in the pages you want, rather, take out the pages you don't want, rearrange them, and then set that as your default. And then that will be your CMA layout for the rest of your use with Matrix until you make a manual change to that and save as a new default. Also in the bottom left corner, there's a link that says upload custom pages. So if you have a PDF offline, like maybe your company history, personal bio, the tax record for the subject property, whatever it is you can think of, you are able to upload those additional PDF type pages into the CMA layout and save that as part of your default as well. So you can supplement and add to. And I'm just clicking the header here at the top of these different sections to add all of the pages at once. You can do like I did just a moment ago and click individual pages if you're certain that you want that page, or just click the header there and it'll add all of the pages in. And then I'll add these static pages as well. All right, and then back to our steps across the top, subject property information. You have a couple of ways you can get the subject property info in there. You can manually type it, you can import from tax, you can import from MLS. I typically would import from the tax record because I presume, again, it's not already listed in MLS, and I just presumed that it was an expired listing I was relisting and doing a new CMA for. But again, you've got several different scenarios there. I'm going to use the last, search for tax record info. So once you click that link, it always defaults to Harris County in the lower left area here. So it's really important that you always, always, always adjust the county. If it's not in Harris, that will result in no comps for you, no property data rather. All right. So I'm just going to put in an address that I know, again, happens to be in MLS, but and I'm using street number, street name, and county, but you could use any combination of any of the other pieces of data on there. Typically, the address is going to be the easiest, or a piece of information that you for sure know right off the bat. And then we'll just check the little box there to select it, similar to working with any other property within Matrix. And then you'll click Fill from Selected down below. And so that's going to import whatever it could find for me in the tax record. So the address, of course, zip, city, legal or subdivision, beds, bath, stories, pool, your built, just kind of the cookie cutter basics there. I can type in these blanks, so I can either add on things that I know. If I know it has a 2-car garage, I could type that there. If I know the year built is 2005, not 2004, I can change that data. Motherly advice, I would just be sure you have some way to support that change rather than just making changes, and just, of course, be mindful with how that might affect your math. If you change square footage, for instance, that can make a big difference in your price per square foot and other numbers. In the top of the right column now, the property photo, you would just click the Browse button to browse to your desktop, the Documents folder on your computer, wherever you might have a property photo saved. Presuming you have a subject property photo, you can put that in there. It will put this No Picture Available little placeholder graphic on all the pages where a subject property photo would go if you don't upload something else. So just be mindful of that being on those pages. And then remarks, if you had imported from MLS, it pulls the realtor remarks from Matrix. You can also type your own remarks here. You can see you've got up to 2,000 characters. Again, be mindful, that does print where a consumer could see it. So mind your P's and Q's, as my dad used to say. And then moving on to the cover step. Not much to do on that particular step. It's pulling your name and photo, email, phone numbers, all those good things from your setup in Matrix. And hopefully, if you've taken that Matrix 1 overview class, you've already gone through that setup section, but you go to My Matrix and then My Information. You can upload your photo there. You can edit the CMA cover sheet content on a CMA cover tab within that My Information section. So just in case you don't have that. Again, you have a second opportunity here to pull in that property photo and put that. The client's name already came from the first screen. I don't actually know Chicken Little, and I don't have a phone number and email and all those things saved for him in my Matrix contacts, but you could manually type that stuff in if you didn't already have it in your contact section. It's also not crucial to the CMA. It's just kind of a nicety to have, you know, your contact info and then a little extra info about the consumer. Comparables, again, I would have already done my painstaking research and eliminated the ones I didn't want, and all of that prior to launching the wizard typically. So in my quick and easy scenario here, I'm just going to select them all. And that's about all there is to that step. Again, not much to do on that step. If you'll notice down at the bottom, you do have some choices to remove comps, add more comps from either MLS listings or tax records, and then add from cart. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So as you're reading over this, if you realize, oh goodness, I don't need both of those on Meadow Lake, only this one really is relevant, so I need to kick that one out. If you just check the little box there and hit remove, it is no longer a part of your CMA. So you don't have to start the whole process or anything like that. Very short and sweet. If you click add from listings, it takes you to the typical matrix search page where you can search by characteristics of the home, beds, baths, square footage, year built, pool, all those things that you typically search by, and pull more listings up. Again, often you've already done that. And then it's not as common to import properties from the tax records to use as comps. If it was a tax-only sale, it might be nice to have it in there just so that they are aware that you are paying attention to their market. You know something did sell, but we don't know, we don't have verified sold price data if it was not run through the MLS. If that didn't close through an MLS, we don't really ever know what that official close price is per se. You can get the loan amount and mortgage information and things like that, and get a guesstimate or some general information, but you just don't know as much math to do your, it's not included, for instance, in the average price per square foot and days on market and things like that, because it's not MLS data. So again, not as common. And like I said, I'll come back and talk about carts another time. Moving on to the map, nothing for you to do at all on the map. It's literally just mapping the comps we picked and my subject property. Adjustments may have some stuff for you to do. Typically, you only do adjustments on sold properties. If you click on any property address in that sold status, about halfway down, you'll see closing costs and repairs listed there. So in this case, they gave away $500 worth of closing costs, and they gave away $0 in repairs. So I would type minus 500 or put it in parentheses to subtract that out. I don't have to do anything since 0 was the amount on that other. I don't need to account for an adjustment on the repairs. But if you'll notice at the bottom, it's going to subtract that price out. So let me just do it where you can see. So the initial sales price is $835.5, but with that concession, the adjusted sales price is $834.5. So instead of $835,000, it's $834.5, right? And then you're going to click next in the upper right area, and you would account for all those adjustments on each of the sold properties. So again, you're looking for closing cost contributions and repairs for that math. There are some different schools of thought on doing adjustments for other features like pool or stories or half baths or whatever. We won't get into those details in this particular overview today because we have several other things to cover. I recommend you take one of those cool classes I talked about at the beginning, but also always defer to your broker or manager for help with picking comps and advice on all of these different steps. The pricing tab toward the top there obviously will pull your low, median, average, high, and unit count from the comps we chose in MLS. And then you are going to type in the blank. So this suggested list price area, you can actually type what you would want. It's got, again, some verbiage in there kind of prompting you. Enter the price range that should appear on your CMA. I think we should list your home at, $350 to $450 or whatever it might be. There's also a notes space. So you've got 1,000 characters worth of notes and 250, sorry, I'm making a mess more than highlighting. 250 characters in the suggested list price box, but 1,000 more characters in the notes section. So you've got lots and lots and lots and lots of writing you could do on that. Again, my motherly advice is be mindful of what you put in writing, because then that is, much more like a promise guarantee than, you know, advice or suggestions. Listing real estate market shifts all the time. So these are suggestions that potentially could change based on other factors. So then moving to the last step, finish. Again, here are all the pages that I chose back in that first step. And now that I get to preview it, I may decide I don't like some of those. So I can jump back to any one of these steps at any point and tweak, you know, the subject property information or the pages that I want or any of those things. So if you just click View CMA, it'll generate a PDF for you that you could then print and take with you and have to present to your seller of that property. Excuse me. And it will be very exciting when it generates our CMA. I do have one saved offline should we need to do that. Ah, there we go. I'm not very patient, so. Looking at the cover, remember we had cover sheet and then cover with a photo. So this is the cover page. Again, the majority of the background here is just plain white with the text kind of on the page there. And then the second page is cover with a photo. So again, this background image kind of blueprints, the blue border, those types of things. And like I said before, it's going to put no picture available everywhere you could have put a subject property photo. So might want to work at finding some sort of picture to upload there if you don't like the way that looks. Excuse me. And again, depending on how many comps you chose, you're going to come up with 20-ish some pages. And again, you don't need all these pages. So the minimums and maximums, for instance, the maximum listing price of all those comps I picked was $850,000 and $6 million too. Crazy range. Again, I put no effort into choosing my comps really. So I don't want to give them these numbers. Those are crazy numbers. So A, pick your comps better than I did. But B, this is just the minimum and maximum number. It's not using the average. It's not guiding them toward anything related to the condition of their property and all those other things that go into choosing that actual price that they can list their home at, that the market can support their home being listed for. So some people don't use this page at all because the low's too low and the high's too high. My listing needs to fall somewhere in the middle. It doesn't really illustrate that number, the average, as well on this page. So again, if you went back to your wizard, back to the pages steps, you can just throw out the minimums and maximums page or the cumulative days on market chart or whatever it is that doesn't work for you. Again, I've got 39 total pages here, and that's a lot of pages. That may be fantastic for some sellers. It may be way, way, way too much for others. So again, the more you get used to this, the more CMAs you run and use it for, the more you'll get familiar with what pages you don't want to include. So they have a lot of nice charts and graphs and what I jokingly refer to as rainbows and unicorns. So they have a lot of really nice pages in there. Again, I just don't know that you would need all 39 of them potentially. So there you go. The last section, those static pages, that category called static, when we were picking our pages, those are all just pictures, not related to my subject property, my actual CMA in any way. Activity versus timing is one of those first few of the static pages. This is just saying when you first put it on the market, everybody's really interested, and then interest wanes after that. And that's true pretty much of every listing. So this is, again, kind of generic content. Here's quote unquote my guarantee to you. Again, if you're not going to do those things, you don't like what it says, don't use that page. Effect of overpricing. The longer, the higher overpriced it, the more overpriced it is, rather, the longer it sits on the market. So just again, static or generic pages. Good stuff for using a realtor market analysis explanation, what you just did for them. So price it too high, it's bad. Price it too low, it's bad. So like I say, quite a few good charts and graphs that can either just help you understand the process more if you're new to the process or don't work with listings all that often. And also it could be good information for your sellers. And like I say, just go back to the Pages menu, take out what you don't want. If you just click your title there, and then click on whatever page it is, click the little X over here on the right, and then you just jump back to the finish step and regenerate another PDF view. The other option you have on that page is to email it directly from there. So if you have an absentee owner, out of town owner, whatever, you can either print the PDF like we talked about originally, or you can email it directly to them. If they just don't have the time to sit down and meet with you, you could just email it to them instead. Often you'll have a little packet that you take and sit down and meet with them face to face and do a presentation with. So that's the idea behind the CMA wizard. So that is the end of all the steps there. It did auto save for you all along the way, but you can click the save icon, our good old-fashioned floppy disk. Everybody knows that, even if you don't know what an actual, or to never use an actual floppy disk, you know that means save typically. So you can click save one last time just to be really, really, really comfortable. It has saved, but I assure you it has auto saved all along the way. And then the little red and white X, it kind of feels, because it's in the natural progression of steps here, like it's going to be just to leave the wizard. But if you'll notice, it says, are you sure you want to delete this CMA? If you click that red X and then OK, that CMA is gone forever. So just be really sure that you don't do that if you don't want to delete it. Your CMAs are going to be saved over here, again, in the My Matrix menu. And My Matrix CMA is about halfway down. And like I said at the top, it saves those for 180 days, and after that time, it will purge them. And it does send you that email message to warn you that that's about to occur. So that is how you would go back to access those. And then let's just kind of go back to the beginning. I'm going to just go back into my recent search drop down here to get back to the results screen and show the quick CMA next. Again, if you've got any questions you want to throw out at me, just feel free to send those in that chat and I'll address those as they come up. But moving on into quick CMA. So again, the same process is presumed here, that you've already done your search, painstakingly read through all of these and hand selected these premium comps that are perfect. And then the quick CMA, just a little right of center down in the actions menu, will generate a very short and sweet kind of report. So math is math. Your low, high, median, average, all those numbers are the same as what we got on that pricing page of the CMA Wizard and throughout the CMA Wizard pages, but this is typically no more than a page or two. Again, depending on how many comps you have, you could end up with more pages, but it's a very short, sweet, simple report. The banner header, again, that you would set up back in My Matrix, My Information, that's all done there, is automatically at the top of each page. So they've got your name, phone numbers, emails, your little round smiley face, my little round smiley face anyway. And then it breaks it apart by actives and then pendings and then solds. And the last page has a summary. Let me just zoom in a touch more for y'all. So this low, high, minimum, maximum, average, median, adjusted price per square foot accounts for those adjustments that we did back on the Wizard, where I took out that $500 adjustment to account for that closing cost. This number takes those out. So presuming I had chosen the same comps, it adjusts for those numbers there. Nothing wrong with giving this report to a consumer. Some people are charts and graphs and rainbows and unicorns kind of folks, and some are not. This is, you know, that engineer type personality that just loves this little chart, numbers at the bottom, 2 pages, I'm done. You're going to have an audience for that. Just know your target audience. Some will need more support. Some will need more pages to really understand why you are encouraging them to pick a price and a certain range and all of that. Some will see this, say, cool, I get it, that's it, that's all I need, let's go. Also, you might just want to print this for yourself. You know, it gives you a list of all of the comps and all the main facts about those homes, and you're adjusted as well as high, low, and so forth. So you see all those prices and all of that. So it helps you have those numbers right in front of you and talk educatedly about those comps. So that's Short and sweet, simple, quick CMA. There is a little bit of a quirk, I guess is the best word for that. If I click quick CMA here, it generates that PDF that I can then print. If you want to email the quick CMA directly from Matrix rather than generating the PDF, saving that, opening your email, attaching it to an email, if you go over here to this menu that says print/email PDF, you'll be able to email this quick CMA directly from inside Matrix. So it's kind of hiding in plain sight there. The menu does say email PDFs, and that's what you'll be doing. So click on that button, and you're going to have printable reports like your agent full and client one page and all those things. But also toward the very bottom of the list, just a few from the very bottom, you'll see quick CMA. So print to PDF would do the exact same thing we just did. Open the PDF in the new tab where I can look at it, view it, print it, and be done. But you can see the email PDF button is there as well. So I could just click email, type my client's email address, subject, message, pulls my signature from my setup, and then send it out. Again, this is kind of a short, sweet report. So if you're going to meet with them and do your more robust presentation in the next couple of days, maybe you send this ahead of time as like a pre-listing or whatever. Again, out-of-town clients, several reasons why you might potentially email it to them. All right, so we've done CMA, quick CMA. Now we'll finish with Cloud CMA. Cloud CMA, again, is the only one tied to your MLS Platinum subscription. So you would have to have subscribed to that to be able to use the product. But again, you'll see the steps here. It all starts with the process that we're doing now. You would still do your search in MLS, still come up with those comps that you're painstakingly reviewing and choosing, and then click Cloud. So even though it's a third-party product, it's pulling the data out of Matrix over into that Cloud product, and it will use all of that data, the beds and baths and price and adjusted price and all of those fields to do my CMA for me. So create your CMA is your first step, and you can see they have kind of a little wizard similar-ish to the CMA wizard. There's just really 4 steps to this particular product. So name the report, give it a client name, sticking with my very important client, Chicken Little. Private notes, as it says, do not appear on the report. So I can just make some notes to myself, talking points I want to remember to cover or whatever it might be. And then over here, you would start typing the address, and it is pulling from a national database. If you're familiar with the product called RPR, it's the same database essentially. So as I start typing that address, you can see I've got several options. I'll pick the one here in Houston, and then it's going to autofill some of those pieces of information that it finds in the tax record. Under advanced info, I can finish the rest of the fields here, my lot size, taxes, garage numbers, area number, whatever it is, and I can add a photo from here as well. And then if we scroll down, you'll see in the lower left, it pulled all the MLS numbers for all those properties I chose in Matrix. So I could fetch listings, meaning go on to the next step with this green button here at the bottom, or the green fetch listings button in the upper right, and move on and create my CMA. If I had started back at HAR, I didn't open Matrix, I didn't do a search in Matrix, you can actually access Cloud CMA from here and start the process from scratch. And then what they call a quick and dirty CMA is an option. So instead of doing the search in Matrix and coming up with my comps and properties that way, I would use the Cloud program to do the search. Again, motherly advice, maybe you're already familiar with Matrix, you already know how to come up with the search criteria, the comps, and do the process. Kind of quick and easy to just hit Cloud CMA and import them over from Matrix, but you can very easily use their search feature as well. So fetch listings takes me to step 2 of 4. And it's really just reviewing the listings in my instance, since it did in fact import them from MLS. So I've got a map very similar to the CMA wizard we did. I could type a price here if I wanted to suggest a list price range. Again, it's detailing out my actives, pendings, solds, low, medium, average, high. And then each individual property is shown here with the solds at the top, then the pendings, then the actives. And if you'll notice off to the right, it says details and adjustments. So again, like I did in the other CMA wizard, I would go into the adjustment section and account for the $500 they gave away in repairs or closing costs or whatever it might be. And it'll do that math for me. And then customize, you can either hit the menu item over here or the green button in the right or at the bottom. Customize, again, just really means pick the pages that I want. They have something like 50-ish pages. So my Matrix CMA Wizard had 20-ish pages to the template. They have about 50-ish pages to their template. They have several different themes and layouts and things like that. Your company might also have a branded layout in here. So your Heritage Texas or Coldwell Banker or whomever, sorry if I didn't mention your brokerage firm, they may already have a template for you, a theme for you with the company logos and color schemes and custom brokerage centric pages and things like that. So if you click theme, you'll see basic color, black, white, silver, burgundy, teal, whatever, but you also might see those company names. So the big perk of cloud versus the wizard is this very robust customization. So again, very comprehensive packages of themes, the layouts, let you pick multi-photos, so I can do a columnar comparison like in the wizard, or I can include more data about each subject, each comp property, 2 columns instead of 4 or 3 or whatever it is. So you've got a lot more flexibility here to customize it and really make it your own. The cover, again, you can customize that more. You can change the font size, the font color. You can really go to town and make it your own. And then you can save that as your default as well. And then you can see on some of these pages, you can edit. Some you can't. Some of them are just stock pages, but wherever it says edit, you can. So if you write a cover letter or want a cover letter as a part of your CMA, you've got the choice to do that just by clicking edit. You can type, I'm the best realtor in the whole wide world and here's why. Leave these things that have the percentages where it says dear, blah, 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 blah. Leave all that stuff because that's pulling from the database, so it'll automatically put the current day's date, the consumer's name, pulling from your little wizard back at the previous steps. So anywhere you see those little percentage signs and all that. And then on the left, you've got more. Again, more and more and more and more pages. So you can really, really, really customize it. You just click and pick the page, preview it, check it out, see if you like it, and then you can put it in there. If you don't want the page, see how you have a little red minus, you just click that, takes the page out. And then they do have other upgrade options, so you can purchase these Power Pack pages in the Tom Ferry pack and get even more packages of stock template pages to include. But what you get with the standard package, you're already in without any additional fees on top of that platinum subscription. Gives you a really nice, robust report. And I went ahead and did this before the webinar just so I have one ready to go. But if you'll notice down and to the left here where it says Overbrook, again, I didn't put a photo in there, but I could. I've got options to get the link, copy the slideshow link, or the printable report link, or email it directly from here or delete it. So they generate a PDF report similar to, again, the CMA Wizard in a lot of ways, but it looks different. Again, you have many more pages, much more customization, much more branding. Again, you can make it, whatever font and color scheme and all that good stuff. Math is math. So your average, median, list price, all that good stuff. So again, we have similar map, but it's just a prettier, shinier version of that same map page or a similar map page. And I chose the 2-column view instead of 4 columns or whatever. So all the property photos from MLS can be included with the cloud product. Just the primary photo from each listing is really usually included in the CMA Wizard version. So again, lots and lots and lots of options. If you'll notice at the top, I have 80 pages to the CMA because I didn't pare down my comps really, but also I didn't do anything at all really to edit those pages. So very robust comparatively. The last option you have is a slideshow. So similar content, but in a PowerPoint-esque type presentation. So I don't have to print the paper packet and take it to them and flip through those 20-ish to 80-ish pages. I can just open my laptop or pull out my iPad and do this PowerPoint, this online version. Let me just fix the scale here. So in the lower right corner, you can see the controls to go to the right or back to the home, which is this home screen. If I just bump it to the right, again, similar to the cover page of the paper version, same kind of map, illustrating where the properties are located. Then it details out the solds. If I go down, I can see property photos, all those MLS photos, and then just keep moving to the right. And again, down gets you to all the property photos. I'm going to fast forward a bit, whisk through. So all your sold properties, then pendings, then actives. And then we get into some math, my average, sold, pendings, actives, numbers there, analysis, again, much like my quick CMA, detailing out each of those, percentage of list price. So that also is something illustrated on my quick CMA, sale price to list price ratio. The goal was to get 100% of the price we listed it at. I don't know if that grammar's good or not, but they were able to achieve 98, a little over 98%. This property, not so much. They didn't do so great at achieving what they had set out for. So on average, overall, out of all the comps I chose, they were able to achieve about 88%. So again, pretty detailed pages. Here are their next steps, pros and cons. You've got the next steps, commission distribution, very similar. Again, stock pages, price it too high, it's bad. Price it too low, it's bad. So you've got a lot of different pages. These are all NAR stock pages, so that's why they're similar. When you first put it on the market, everyone's interested, and then interest wanes, and so you want to price it intelligently. And then thanks, again, if I have them on my iPad and they're lukewarm at this point, still on the fence about listing or whatever, I can just say, well, thanks a lot. Have a great day. Appreciate you letting me in the house. Otherwise, if you want them to have a copy, you could also just email that to them and send it. So then they would have basically this PowerPoint-esque, they get a link and have that little PowerPoint type presentation that they can scroll through at their convenience. And they save their CMAs long-term as well, 2 pages worth. Again, I've got CMAs dating back to 2016 in here, so I don't know of a time limit for cloud CMA reports. I think that they are saved until you manually choose to delete them. All right, so that brings us to the end of the overview of the products. Again, in Matrix, my Matrix CMAs are saved here. So you can open those, view them, print them. If you click the little drop down to the left of the name, you can see you can edit it, view it, email it, delete it. So all those things that we did while in the wizard, you can pick right back up. If you edit the CMA, just go right back in through those steps. Of course, you can delete it. And like I said, Matrix limits 180 days. Cloud CMA is also accessible from right here. So again, if I wanted to go to my Matrix Cloud CMA, starting from scratch rather than importing MLS data, I can do the CMA tab up here at the top, use their quote unquote quick and dirty version and run the research over here. Cloud also offers you buyer tours. So if I'm showing property, I can pull property info from MLS, schedule them, kind of lay them out in the order that I would want, and generate a buyer tour with some brief information about each property, and be able to email that to my client so they'd have like a notes page of sorts, reference to show them about the properties. Property information, property reports again would be, I don't want to watch the whole video there, but different kind of reports that you can do. Again, the CMA being one of those, the buyer tours, flyers, again, prospecting to get listings and or marketing listings that once you get them. And then property flyers, again, is another choice. So all that's rolled into the base subscription of Cloud CMA. So once you register for HAR's Platinum package, you get all this stuff from Cloud as well. Last but not least, in the upper right, my my initials, your account settings. You can pull your picture in there, make sure your phone number is correct, create your custom pages to import, other PDFs and things like that. And they have good help resources as well. All right. So really, that brings me to the end of all of the different products. Again, I just didn't show you, but I do have a little screenshot for each of those products. Again, I'll be emailing you the PowerPoint. Again, in the upper right, look for the handouts, and you've got a copy of the handout or the PowerPoint that you can download now. I didn't have any other questions coming in as I was talking, but if you want to take a moment, I'll take another moment here just to say, if you have any questions for me, let me know. Go ahead and shoot me at those questions in the chat feature now if you'd like, but you're more than welcome to just email me or call me later. Email works a little better just because I teach an awful lot. I'm able to check those, at different times of the day on my breaks and things like that, whereas I don't physically sit at my desk by my phone all that often. But I will always call you back. I'll email you back at my earliest convenience, so feel free to let me know if you need anything. And I do teach the CMA Price It Right class. I teach the matrix overview classes, so you may see me in person again at some point rather than just seeing me virtually. All righty. Well, I don't have any other questions coming in. So thank y'all so much for your time today. I really appreciate you devoting an hour to listening to my little Mickey Mouse voice, Minnie Mouse voice here online. We do a webinar each month. The first week of the month is typically an HAR type tool like this one. And then at the end of the month, the last week of the month, we have a different topic. We'll have contract updates coming up later in the year. We'll have a Matrix 360 overview, the change to Matrix that's coming in the next couple of months. We'll have a market update, things like that. So if you'll visit har.com/edu, there's a webinar section. You probably went there to register for today's webinar. Up here in the upper right where it says webinars, you'll see all the dates, times, topics, and so forth. The perks of Platinum, again, I typically do the first part of the month and then different topics in the latter portion of the month. There'll be more added. We just don't have the topics and facilitators finalized for some of them, but just keep checking back. You'll see more info there. No charge, no CE, but good info. All righty. Thank y'all again so much. I really appreciate your time. Give me a couple of days for this video to render into a format where I can send it to you. And within about 2 or 3 days, you'll get an email from me with the link to that in the handout and reiteration of my contact info. Have a great rest of your day. Stay warm. Even though we didn't get snow, it's still pretty chilly out there. So have a great one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.